She spent 3 seasons on a commercial fishing boat in the North Atlantic, caught barely enough to cover costs, cried on camera when they failed to catch a tuna on her birthday, and then walked away from the show right before her family pulled off one of the biggest comebacks in Wicked Tuna history. Her name is Angelica Mariano, and she wasn't just a crew member on the show. She was the captain's daughter, and the heart of a family operation that nearly broke apart before it finally came together. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what Angelica was doing before the show, what drove her off camera, and where she ended up, and it's a story that most fans of Wicked Tuna have never heard in full. Before Angelica Mariano ever stepped onto a fishing boat for a television camera, the ocean had already left its mark on her family. Her father, Dave Mariano, skippered a vessel called Hard Merchandise, one of the original boats when Wicked Tuna premiered on National Geographic on April 1, 2012. The show followed commercial fishermen out of Gloucester, Massachusetts, chasing bluefin tuna in the North Atlantic. It was hard, unpredictable work. The government set strict quotas. Catch sizes were regulated. Every pound of tuna sold was tracked against a scoreboard that updated episode by episode, season by season. But before Hard Merchandise, Dave ran a boat called the Angelica Joseph, named after his 2 oldest children. On January 13, 2003, that boat sank, 20 miles out to sea. Luckily, the crew made it back. The vessel did not. Dave rebuilt. He got back on the water. And years later, when National Geographic came looking for captains willing to put their livelihoods on camera, Dave Mariano said yes. Hard Merchandise appeared in every season from 1 through 7, and eventually, so did his daughter. And if you think the sinking of a boat named after her was just an early coincidence in this story, stay with me, because this next part is why the whole story matters. Most people who followed Angelica on Wicked Tuna assumed she was a fishing family girl who grew up wanting to be on the water. The reality is almost the exact opposite. Angelica told producers that her family couldn't pay the bills from fishing when she was young, so she didn't romanticize it. She fished for enjoyment, kept her grades up, and pushed towards something else. She graduated from Gloucester High School, and then in 2014 earned a Bachelor of Arts in Communications with a minor in psychology from Newberry College in Brookline, Massachusetts. After graduation, she built a career on land. She worked as a social media campaign manager for a public relations firm. She joined Ralph Lauren's customer support team. She found her way into the entertainment industry as a location assistant and stage assistant, and her biggest credit before the show aired was working on Little Women, the 2019 Greta Gerwig film that won the Academy Award for Best Costume Design. That's the woman who boarded Hard Merchandise in March 2018. Not a deckhand by trade, not a career fisherwoman, a college-educated communications professional who understood storytelling from both sides of the camera, and who was now about to become part of the story herself. Here's what the comments kept asking, and here's the answer they never got, until now. Angelica joined the Hard Merchandise crew in Season 7, Episode 1, titled Worst to First, which aired on March 11, 2018. Her role was deckhand. She kept the boat on course, cooked for the crew, spotted tuna from the deck, and provided what her family consistently called emotional steadiness when the pressure mounted. She also stepped in on the wire when her brother Joe or her cousin Jay needed a break, wrapping the fishing line around the reel while they recovered. The problem wasn't the crew. The problem was the fish. By Episode 3, Hard Merchandise was the only vessel in the fleet that hadn't caught a single bluefin tuna. The scoreboard, which the show updated week by week, showed them at the bottom. FVTuna.com, the defending champion, was struggling too. The 2 crews decided to partner, sharing coordinates and information, which helped Tuna.com more than it helped the Marianos. By Episode 6, Tuna.com had climbed to first place with $141 in earnings from 4 fish. Hard Merchandise had caught 2 tuna worth $67,517. By Episode 12, the gap had widened to something difficult to look at. The leader, Fishhawk, had 12 tuna and $78,500. Hard Merchandise had 6 tuna worth $1,867. Dave Mariano reached a breaking point on camera. He cursed. He threw things. Angelica said she felt like they'd done everything right and still got nothing back. The season ended with Hard Merchandise in last place, 10 tuna, $69,000. On the finale, they brought Dave's wife Nancy aboard for luck. Angelica wanted to catch a tuna on her birthday. They didn't catch one. She cried. And that's when the decision was made, the one nobody around her saw coming. The bad luck didn't end in Season 7. It followed the family into Season 8, and they followed it onto a different boat. Dave decided hard merchandise needed a full overhaul. The crew transferred to a vessel called Falcon for Seasons 8 and 9, while the original boat went through retrofitting. Angelica came along. So did Joe, and eventually their cousin Jay. Season 8 had a memorable early moment. In the first episode, Falcon failed to catch anything. Angelica, whose nickname on the crew had become Gel, fell asleep from sheer boredom, until the radar sounded and the fishing reel began unspooling fast. She jumped up and started hauling the line in before getting tired. The tuna was too heavy. Her brother Joe took over the rod while she drove the boat. Dave commented on camera, "Angelica has been doing a lot of driving. She's a smart kid and a fast learner. Thank God she doesn't take after me." They dedicated that first tuna, a 90-inch fish, to Angelica's late maternal grandfather Bill, who they believed was watching over them. Season 8 ended with 5 tuna and $2,383 in earnings, 5th out of 7. Season 9 started with legitimate optimism. A new crew had entered on a boat called Fat Tuna, with Captain Bob Cook announcing he intended to dethrone Dave Carrero of Tuna.com. The energy shifted, but by the midpoint of Season 9, the fish market collapsed, not because of anything the boats did. Buyers informed all captains that the market was flooded. Purchases paused for 48 hours. When the season ended, Falcon had caught 5 tuna worth $29,297 and finished last. At this point in the story, most people walked away. What she did instead is the part nobody talks about. Angelica didn't quit. The show changed around her. When Season 10 of Wicked Tuna began filming, 2 significant things had happened. First, Dave had fully rebuilt hard merchandise, new cabin, better deck, a 500-horsepower engine, upgraded fuel tanks. He also kept Falcon, creating a 2-boat family operation. Joe was promoted to captain of hard merchandise. Jay became his first mate. Dave operated Falcon. The Marianos were, by structure and intent, a full family fishing company now. Second, the COVID-19 pandemic had collapsed the commercial fishing market. The price buyers paid per pound of bluefin tuna dropped from a range of $17 to $25 down to $1 to $10 for the same weight. That's not a dip. That's a near-complete destruction of profit margin. National Geographic responded by cutting production costs. The focus shifted to captains and first mates. Deckhands, unless they were pivotal to a storyline, were edited down or out entirely. Angelica's most memorable moment in Season 10 was telling her father she was craving peanut butter. She appeared in the first episode, briefly returned in the third, and then disappeared from the season entirely. Hard merchandise, without Angelica on camera, finished Season 10 in second place, 14 tuna worth $48,541. The best result the Marianos had ever posted. She was gone by the time it happened. She never talked about this publicly, until now. After Wicked Tuna, Angelica Mariano went back to what she'd been building before she ever set foot on a fishing boat for television. She relocated to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and began working in New Mexico's film and television production industry. New Mexico had become a serious production hub, with tax incentives, infrastructure, and a growing roster of projects drawing productions away from California. In 2022, Angelica announced publicly that the state's film industry had reached record-breaking spending of $855 million that year, despite the pandemic's lingering effects. She was part of that ecosystem, working on sets as her career had been trending toward before Season 7 interrupted it. She remained active on social media through Facebook and Instagram under the handle @Amariano, where she urged followers to get vaccinated and continued posting updates on both her career and her family's businesses. Because the family's business didn't stop when the cameras did. Her father launched Angelica Seafoods on September 1, 2022, a nationwide seafood delivery company selling bluefin tuna steaks, monkfish, haddock, and lobster with overnight shipping. The finances are managed by Angelica's aunt, Christine Mariano Spola, who holds an MBA. Dave also runs Angelica Fisheries, a fishing charter company employing Dave, Joe, Jay, and at least one other crew member. 2 businesses, both named after his daughter. And if you think that means she walked away from everything, stay with me, because this next part is why the whole story matters. Angelica Mariano came into Wicked Tuna as an outsider in the most visible way, a woman stepping onto a boat built by and for her father's world, in a niche that rarely made room for anyone outside that world. She kept showing up across 3 brutal seasons where the fish didn't cooperate, and the scoreboard made it public every single week. She cooked, drove, spotted, reeled, cried, and came back the next morning to do it again. She didn't quit because it was hard. She stepped back because the show had structurally moved on, the market had collapsed, and she had a career waiting for her on land that she'd been building since 2014. Meanwhile, her father named a seafood company and a charter fishing company after her. The businesses keep going. The family stayed together. Hard merchandise came in second place the season after she left, which may be the most Wicked Tuna ending possible. As of 2025, Angelica continues working in New Mexico's entertainment industry. Angelica Seafoods is still operating out of Gloucester. The Mariano family, as a unit, is still on the water. She went from failing to catch a birthday tuna on national television to working inside one of the country's fastest-growing film production states. And she made that move quietly, without a farewell episode or an announcement. The next chapter for Angelica Mariano appears to be exactly what she planned before season 7, building a career in entertainment, on her own terms, while staying connected to a family that put her name on 2 businesses and never stopped fishing. Do you think Angelica made the right call stepping away from Wicked Tuna? Or do you wish she'd stayed on camera through the season 10 comeback? Let us know below.